коммуниста? Что вы здесь делаете?
Ты хорошо послужила мне, Юна. Очень хорошо. И теперь лишь вопрос времени, когда небесные стражи будут окончательно уничтожены.
О чем вы говорите?
Ну а ты сама что думаешь?
Нет, не может быть. Ты и есть хранитель?
Меня предали Аюми и заточили здесь. Все, что мне оставалось, это дожидаться прихода потомка драконов, который разбудил бы меня. И гильдия охотников за сокровищами была идеальным местом для его поиска. Наместник и небесные стражи прекрасно все знали, но они так и не сумели тебя остановить. Я не ошибся, Аюми.
Ты получил, что хотел. Дай людям уйти.
Я не могу этого сделать.
March 6th, 2014. We interrupt the Perry Logan Show to present this special address to the people of America from Russian President Vladimir Putin. Yay!
As you know, I have recently made moves to annex the Crimea. By doing this, I have thrown the whole world off guard. I have made Obama look like a putz. I have threatened Russia's economy and the world economy. I have threatened world peace, threatened to bring back World War II, totally screwed up the afterglow of the Sochi Global Warming Slush Olympics, and generally messed up things in a way only Republicans could do. As a result of my actions, I, Vladimir Putin, have been getting a lot of fan letters from Republicans in America. It's true. The Republicans love this Russian commie stuff. It's really kind of weird. The Republicans seem to love me, especially those hot Republican women. It is my understanding that several of your red states have voted to join the Soviet Union, and I, Vladimir Putin, say, welcome red states to the Soviet Union! I did not realize Republicans hate Obama so very much they actually love me. They seem very sweet on me. They are, as Austin's verbal Perry Logan says, sweet on Putin. There's no disputin'. Republicans are sweet on Putin. There's no disputin', they're sweet on Putin.
There's no disputin', the sweet on Putin.
Hello, this is Sarah Palin, and there's no disputin', I'm sweet on Putin. Hey Vlad, this one's for you.
This is Rush Limbaugh. There's no disputing, I'm sweet on Putin. This one's for you, Vlad. Well, thank you, Rush. Hi, I'm a typical effete aging white male Republican congressman who is totally sweet on Putin. I love that homophobia, big guy.
Think nothing of it, little guy.
You know, over at CPAC, where all the righties hang out, we're thinking you're the top guy for president. Dude, you're polling better than Rand Paul? No. Chris Christie?
You don't say.
And that guy who seems to be the reincarnation of Joe McCarthy?
Yes, I've gotten some very hot letters from him.
Well, they love your homophobia, and they love your authoritarian ways, but most of all, they hate Obama. They hate me? Why? It's nothing about you, Obama. The right hate Democrats. That's all there is to it. That's why they're so sweet on Putin.
There's no disputing.
Let me show you some of these hot letters I got from Republican women. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2014 meeting of CPAC, the far-right loonies who run the Republican Party. Here's where anyone who's anyone on the far right gather. And at this year's meeting, there's no doubt the big star is Russia's strapping Vladimir Putin. There is no disputing the righties are hot on Putin. Putin is now outpolling such former favorites as Rand Paul. Hello there. Chris Christie. Hi there. And Charles Krauthammer. Hello there. For the Republicans' dream candidate to go up against Hillary Clinton in 2016.
Sounds good to me.
And that guy who seems like the reincarnation of Joe McCarthy. Hello. And of course, some of those very fine Republican women. I'm flattered at all this beauty. But you must understand, my heart belongs to Mother Russia. Now, if you excuse me, I have to get back to annexing the Crimea.
He is so sexy.
And as Ann Coulter explodes into a gigantic orgasm, we find ourselves plunging into the labyrinth of another esoteric Perry Logan show. This one called Sweet on Putin. Talking about Vladimir Putin, who seems to be restarting the Cold War by threatening to annex the Ukraine for some trumped-up reasons, reminiscent of nothing so much as the U.S.'s trumped-up reasons for invading Iraq in an event known as the greatest diplomatic disaster in American history. The greatest diplomatic disaster in U.S. history? Do I get credit for that? Hell no, you little wimp. I'll get credit for it. Take that. Take that, you little frat boy cheerleader woos. God, I hate George W. Bush. This is Dick Cheney. God, I hate George W. Bush. I hate George W. Bush. I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. And by the way, I need another heart. That's right. Dick Cheney needs another heart. So if you have a 15-year-old living or dead in your house, contact Dick at perryloganclone@yahoo.com. Just kidding. Satire. Satire. This is Perry Logan, and I think I know love when I see it. And I tell you what, the heat between the right in America and Russian President Vladimir Putin, who recently restarted the Cold War by threatening to annex the Ukraine, the heat between America's Republicans and Vladimir Putin of Russia is palpable. Judging from what the righties are saying, Putin is a shoo-in to be the next Republican candidate for president. I'm very flattered, but I prefer real Russian women. Check it out. Oh, what a sexy Perry Logan show. How could Vladimir Putin have any use for Republican women? Republican women are women who don't mind being forced to have babies. Surely this could have no appeal for such a he-man as Vlad. Well, thank you, Perry. Are you hot on me too? No. Perry freaked out. We're not gay either. Gay is beautiful, but sex is utterly meaningless to us. This is Zim and Quim, the friendly aliens. Sorry to interrupt the show, but sex is meaningless to us. No, really. And as Zim and Quim took off into space, probably to do it, and blew up the Earth, Vladimir Putin continued to rekindle the Cold War, and Republicans were pretty turned on by it. I'm very flattered, really, but the Russian babes are like no others. Here to explain the foreign policy implications of Vladimir Putin's move, to say nothing of the fact that Republicans seem quite smitten by the strapping Russian. Stop it, you're making me blush. Here's Perry Logan of the Council on Foreign Relations. Hey, Council! Hey, how about that, Putin? There's no disputin'. The righties are sweet on Putin. Oh. And I'm not really with the Council on Foreign Relations. Sorry. That was just to freak out the conspiracy folks. I am a sometime student of the conspiracy folks. You know, the 9/11 truthers. Alex Jones. Nobody knows who Alex Jones is, the truthers? 9/11 truthers? 9/11 was an inside job? Hello? Are you all sheeple out there? Well, the conspiracy folks think that the Council on Foreign Relations is part of the world takeover. And if you want to surprise a member of the Council on Foreign Relations, tell him or her he's part of the world takeover. But, so I just threw that in because the foreign policy views of the conspiracy guys are all have to do with secret takeovers and stuff. But there's no disputing the strapping Russian, Vladimir Putin, seems to be... we seem to find ourselves back in a little bit of a Cold War-ish situation. There's plenty of differences, but we do suddenly find ourselves, kind of talking tough to the Russians, and the Russians talking tough to us, and just, it's all going down right now, and I'm here to clarify. Yay! Wow. Actually, I'm here, as far as the whole topic of foreign policy, when foreign policy rears its ugly head, you have to realize we're living in the post-Snowden era. This is the post-Snowden era, Edward Snowden being the guy who released so much information on how our government operates in secret and how much it operates in secret, and just revelations are still coming out. So I think of this as the post-Snowden era. Okay, well, in my view, what we found out from what we've been finding out more and more from the Snowden revelations is that our government is always up to no good. And it's always secret. Okay. Everything is secret. It's being run according to principles which seem pretty darn authoritarian, to say the least. It's all super, super secret, and they're always up to no good. My goodness, read some of these things we've been finding out. See? So my feeling is that Putin's actions and whatever is going to happen with Putin kind of seems like he wants to annex some territory in a way just like us with Iraq, only he has a much better story than we did. So Putin is acting like a Republican, and I think that's why Republicans are so sweet on the guy. Anyway, so I would have to say that I'm in a kind of a state of epistemological despair as regards foreign policy, if only because of what we found out from Snowden, is that, well, we're not going to get any, how are we going to get any straight information on anything related to foreign policy, international affairs? What does it mean that the Russian leader is doing what he's doing? What does it mean, right? Yeah, well, it's tricky stuff, it's complicated, and we're Americans, and therefore we know nothing about foreign policy. I'm an American, and I took that little American pledge that said we would know nothing about foreign policy. I'm afraid I'm not much of an exception, but part of it is that how would you get straight information? The government, we know from the Snowden materials that the government is never, they're deceiving us hand over fist. Nothing is what it seems. It's really sad. And we're not about to believe everything the Russians say, obviously. So, like I say, epistemological despair, it's like Plato's cave. There's this story of Plato's cave, which is a cave symbolizing a separation from reality. Let's put it that way. People are in a cave looking at shadows on a wall. And Plato, this was his image, said that that's what life is for most people. You're looking at shadows on the wall of a cave with reality out there. So much more than what you know. A really cool thing from Plato. But I almost feel like we are in Plato's cave, at least as far as foreign policy stuff goes. So, instead of clarifying everything for you, I did want to focus, my particular interest is on the weird affinity between the righties in the U.S. and Vladimir Putin, and may I say, the hate between the Republicans and Putin. Hey, I'm Perry Logan, and I know a thing or two about love. And I know the Republicans really, really want Putin to be their next presidential candidate to go up against the beautiful and sexy Hillary Clinton. Wait a minute. We're getting something from the CPAC convention. We now take you to the CPAC convention.
Well, it's pretty exciting here at the CPAC convention, the convention of far righties who rule the United States. You know, the people who say Democrat when they mean Democratic. The people who have rejected most areas of the physical sciences. The people who want to force women to have babies. The people who invade countries on pretexts, just like Vladimir Putin, the strapping Russian. Well, here we are at CPAC, where, sure enough, the strapping Russian, Vladimir Putin, has become CPAC's recommended candidate for the Republican presidential nomination. Doesn't this present some problems with Putin being a Russian? Well, that's not the way the Republicans are looking at it, Perry. Especially the Republican women. Here at the CPAC convention, the strapping Vladimir Putin has found the love of Republicans. And why, you might say? Well, Perry, that's a question for a psychologist. Well then, I'll become a psychologist.
Who drags me back from the dead? This is Sigmund Freud, and the evil Barry Logan has dragged me back from the dead. Just kidding. It's the cocaine talking. You hardly have to be Sigmund Freud to see. The Republicans love Putin because Republicans are authoritarian personalities. This is not just Perry Logan shtick. There is a thing called the authoritarian personality, and if you look it up, you'll see like a little picture of Dick Cheney. Really? No, not really, Dick. Dick Cheney really is the authoritarian personality embodied, as are many right-wingers. And, of course, Vladimir Putin himself being an authoritarian appeals to the Republicans. And the other factor is that Republicans hate Democrats so much they love the Democrats' enemies. They therefore love Putin. There's no disputin. You are blowing this all out of proportion, really. I cannot marry any of the beautiful Republican women who are offering themselves to me. But I can show you some of their photographs. Check these out. Hi, Vlad. How you doing?
Yes, a sweet, aging, white male Republican politician.
Vlad, will you please accept our offer to be the Republican champion in 2016? This is not a real nomination, you understand, just CPAC's recommendation. Boy, you have some biceps there.
Well, thank you, little Republican. I, Vladimir Putin, accept the CPAC recommendation that I become the new champion of the Republicans. We are going to work out the citizenship problems later. We are working to find a way to move the red states to Russia.
We are moving the red states to Russia.
Perry Logan spreads the news. America is moving the red states to Russia.
They can stop leeching off the blue states. Those bloody red state parasites are always this sort of leeching, like fungus and mucus and feces and...
One moment, please. But as I was saying, I, Vladimir Putin, would be happy to become the new champion of the Republican Party. But it's going to cost you a few rubles.
You tell him, Vlad.
I'm going to have to figure out how to make hatred of government and hatred of liberals seem appealing to normal people. I also have to figure out how to make forcing women to have babies sound good to non-medievalists.
Oh, Vlad, you can force me to have a baby anytime.
Go away, Republican woman. I, Vladimir Putin, as the new champion of the Republican Party, per CPAC, will have to explain why my party rejects most of the physical sciences, such as atmospheric science, geology, evolution, and so on, because it doesn't agree with our ideology. I'll have to explain why health insurance is communism. This does seem to be the going theory over here in Looney Land.
Oh, Looney Land, that's so cool.
Just keep your distance, effete little aging white male Republican congressman. I will have to explain why repeating the same policies, such as low taxes, deregulation, and so on, that caused the current mess is the best way to fix the current mess. I, Vladimir Putin, will have to explain why the money never trickled down.
The money never trickles down, you fools! The Republican Party are my puppets, my little meat puppets! This is Satan. If you like living in hell, thank your Republican. If you like your terrible economy, your rising poverty, your rotting infrastructure, wars everywhere, gigantic military, corporations running everything, thank your Republican. Thank your Republican.
Where are we, Quim? Where in Perry Logan's brains, him? Well, I'll be damned. As I was saying before the devil interrupted me, I would also have to explain why people who are down on their luck are parasites. Since when are people who need help parasites? Or have I been talking to too many righties? Like any Republican, I, Vladimir Putin, will have to explain why people should vote someone who hates government into the government. But I know I can do it, Republicans. I was wondering if I can get that Ted Nugent to play at my speeches. Play for Vlad? You bet! I'd play for Vlad any day. Listen! Ted Nugent! Ted Nugent. And now, my interpretation of Ted Nugent. Okay, well, you know, like many of my shows, this show, Sweet on Putin, is based on a true story. It's like those movies that begin by saying, this is based on a true story, and by which you know it's not true. You know, it's based on a true story, and it's not true. Oh, but this show is really true. Well, this show is pointing out some peculiarities in what's going on. And there really is this kind of like, people are saying, are we going to do the Cold War again? Or at least, you know, some mini version with really and truly Vladimir Putin, the stopping virile Russian, who has caught the eye of those righties. Who like them a good Russian, you know? Oh, but in all seriousness, it's not funny. Well, you know, foreign policy has reared its ugly head. It's even penetrated to the Perry Logan show, where, you know, Putin is threatening to annex the Ukraine, and it's looking scary. It's like old times with our guys yelling at their guys and the whole bit, right? And, you know, the Republicans, of course, suddenly calling for us to spend all kind of money is nothing like a foreign policy situation to turn the limited government people into infinite government people. I just wanted to point out a little chink, a little thing I call a chink, or chink, in the limited government folks, is that it always seems to just, they forget that when it comes to the military. It's like limited, oh no, more money, bigger, infinite, okay? Yeah. So, you know, don't listen to the limited government folks, because they're kind of inconsistent there. Well, the Republicans have been, some of them expressing, righties have been expressing a kind of a disconcerting enthusiasm for Putin in this situation. And of course, saying all the things they always say about Obama. By the way, you know, Republicans always say the same things about the Democratic president. Did you know this? Well, you may be too young to notice, but once you've been through an election or two, it'll become quickly apparent that Republicans always say kind of approximately the same things, and it doesn't really seem to matter what the Democratic president does, you know? This is what I'm saying. It's like they have boilerplate criticisms of Democrats, and Obama is now the recipient of the same old, it's like the usual suspects, right? The Republicans always say the Democratic president or candidate is weak. You know, they say he's weak and vacillating. He's encouraging the enemy. He's not really American. His or her foreign policy is insufficiently muscular. It doesn't realize just how terrible foreigners are. I hate to put it that way. But, you know, it's all kind of a xenophobic. It's all through these filters of xenophobia. Okay. So sure enough, Obama, whose foreign policy has actually won praise from neocons, would you just think about that for a minute? That'll make your head blow up. Obama's foreign policy has won praise from neocons. And now, ladies and gentlemen, straight from a sellout show at the Videodrome,
the world's premier trampolinist, Vladimir Putin!